The Bank of Ghana says it went through the usual processes to reissue the 6-month cocoa bill with face value of 940.42 million cedis on behalf of Cocoa Board to raise funds to cover the maturing obligation. This comes after reports that monies paid to investors who purchased cocoa bills on maturity on Thursday, January 19th, 2023, have been withdrawn from individual investors' accounts without their consent. Cocoa Board issued the bill to raise funds. Many had bought the bills expecting to pay back monies with interest on Thursday, January 19, 2023. According to reports, the banks have been under pressure from affected customers all day. The banks have pointed to a directive from the Bank of Ghana ordering them to unilaterally roll over the bonds without first seeking the consent of investors. Attempts to speak with Cocoa Board for more on this has proved futile, but in the last few minutes, however, the Bank of Ghana has issued a statement explaining its action. Extracts of that statement reads, and as you can see on the screens, on Thursday, January 19, 2023, a 6-month cocoa bill with face value of 940.42 million cedis matured. Bank of Ghana went through the usual processes to reissue on behalf of Cocoa Board a new 6-month cocoa bill to raise funds to cover the maturing obligation. But unfortunately, the auction failed and was severely undersubscribed, resulting in a shortfall of 855.42 million. At a meeting held on Friday, January 2023, among the banks, Cocoa Board and Bank of Ghana, it was agreed that all institutional investors will roll over their maturing cocoa bill for tender 6155. Financial institutions have agreed to roll over their cocoa bills investments. Now, cocoa bills, like the Bank of Ghana's bills, were designed as instruments to be held just by financial institutions. Unfortunately, it has come to the notice of the Bank of Ghana that some financial institutions sold the instruments to their retail clients. To reduce the cash flow challenges on retail holders of cocoa bills, the Bank of Ghana, Cocoa Board and commercial banks have agreed to allow banks to use Cocoa Board's deposits placements held at the various banks to cater for retail customers who may not want a rollover of their cocoa bills. Cocoa Board has assured us that the outlook for 2023 crop season is good and cocoa purchasing are ahead of last year. We therefore expect that this short-term cash flow challenges facing Cocoa Board will be resolved soon to enable Cocoa Board meet its obligations to investors. And that was the statement that was issued by the Bank of Ghana. Now, government's handling of COVID-19 expenditure is under scrutiny. The Auditor General has in a special report detailed various infractions said to have caused the nation a loss of millions of cedis. In some instances, monies were either misapplied or used unlawfully. Ambulances paid for are yet to arrive, while some medical facilities bought with public funds have ended up in private facilities. Specifically on COVID-19 vaccine procurement, the Ministry of Health, on behalf of government, paid an amount of $120 million to UNICEF and AVAT for the supply of vaccines. Just 5.8 million doses have come in. This is valued at $38.2 million. The ministry has been asked to recover the outstanding amount. Dr. Patrick Kumabuaje is Director General of the Ghana Health Service.
They've done it for children vaccines over the years, so we always use them to do the facilitation. So they just receive the funds, transfer to the agent, and are able to use their Copenhagen office to manage the cold chain and the guests to the country. So that's why they come in. Yes.
So what you're saying is that the monies have not been lost. We're only waiting for time for these to come in.
We just have back things that we can get, and based on even our gaps that we have over the years, since we don't even know how many doses people are going to need, we still have a large gap that even with this, beyond that, we may still need vaccine. Fortunately, there are a lot of donations here and there that we're using to plug the hole, and it's not because it's been lost. Yes, so we've not received all, but if you have received 16 million at a go, can you imagine what we'll do with it? It will all expire.
Okay, but how do you also explain the instances when ambulances that have been procured have not arrived in the country, as well as medical facilities that have been bought with public funds ending up in private facilities. How do you respond to that one?
Well, I've not read that part of the report. I'm just responding to the vaccine area. And the ministry is going to come up with a comprehensive report, brief statement on the vaccine acquisition. So I would like to say, I don't have the details of what you are saying. I would have to appraise myself of that and be able to see how it happened and what are explanations, if any.
Joseph Akable of our research desk has more on the highlights of the report in the following.
Which you were trying to get some answers from the Ghana Health Service on. The report indicates that the ministry entered into a contract on December 15, 2021 for the supply of 26 ambulances valued at $4 million. We are told that a little over $600,000 of that amount has been paid, but the ambulances have not been delivered. And so the chief director has been asked to ensure that the ambulances are delivered by March 23. On the medical equipment angle, which were valued at $110,000 and others which were valued at 7,895 cedis. They were issued to a private hospital, the Christ Leeds and Specialist Hospital. The facility did not serve as an isolation center, neither did we receive any COVID-19 patients. And so the report notes that management could not offer any reason for the infraction. The items could have been utilized in the public health delivery. And so the recommendation is that the chief director should immediately investigate the allocation, and also that the facility should be made to pay for the equipment at the current cost, failing which the amount should be recovered. The final finding that we can touch on has to do with the information ministry. The report indicates that during the review, it came to light that the staff of the ministry and other supporting staff were paid a total amount of 151,500 cedis as COVID-19 risk allowance for coming to work during the lockdown period. You recall there was a period that government imposed lockdown and a lot of people, various professionals, were not allowed to go to work. So because they were going to work, they decided to pay themselves risk allowance. The Auditor General says that this is contrary to the presidential directive, as well as without the approval of the chief of staff. And so the recommendation is to the effect that the amount should be recovered either from the beneficiary staff or the various officials at the helm of affairs be made accountable for those.
Parents of children in senior high schools are calling on government to allow them pay for the feeding of their wards. They say the current situation of food shortages across second cycle institutions in Ghana is an indication that government alone cannot handle the cost of educating their wards. For some who spoke to Joy FM Super Morning Show today, the situation has compelled them to take matters into their own hands. Neo Kakatete is one of such parents.
So that they are fed. I mean, of course, they will not be given like a 5-star hotel treatment, but at least they should be able to have 3 square meals a day comfortably. So for some of us, we are prepared to pay if that will be enough to feed our children. Yes.
Now, have you offered to pay, and has anyone stopped you from doing so?
Well, once government has not approved for the schools to collect money, I mean, as in the schools collecting the money, that cannot be done. But for us as PA, when we do any contribution, we buy the foodstuffs and deliver it to the school. That's what we are able to do for now. But I believe if it is made, if it is approved, and we are to even pay 500 cedis or 600 cedis, all put together just for feeding of our kids. I think that'll be fine.
So
that we take some burden of government, because it's become clear that government alone cannot bear the cost of feeding or take of our children in school.
So what have you been able to do? I mean, obviously you can't just sit by while your child is fed porridge, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So what have you tried to do to, at least do something about their nutrition?
Well, for my ward, I have given him some money to go there. There are these ladies who sell in the school to go get some wache or some rice to eat. I mean, just to supplement what the school gives them.
And I mean, how is that? How is that working? Do you have any difficulty getting this money to your child? Are they able to eat 3 times a day from these ladies?
Well, for now, when school reopened and I took him, I gave him enough money to take care of that, and I'll be visiting him. So as I go, I'll give him some more just to be able to feed.
A headmaster who gave his name only as John on the basis of anonymity revealed that the ongoing feeding at the second cycle institutions is an eyesore. He also spoke on the Super Morning Show.
Thank you. Like the speaker, informed you last semester, 3 months or so, or 2 months, 3 weeks to the end of the semester, it wasn't easy. He clearly, put up children were going to bed without food. If they had porridge, there was no sugar, no bread. And the quantity, Kojo, is an eyesore. You see, that is the problem. If your school is not so, the parents of your students are not proactive, like this gentleman said, they can't even contribute anything towards the feeding of the kids, so they will go hungry. So that is the situation we end the semester with. Opening this semester, the only thing is that some food stuff has been brought, but it will not last for even 1 month or even 3 weeks. So we were supposed to receive 18 items comprising of sugar, flour, Tom Brown, maize, what have you. Most schools have not even received 6 out of them. So you are giving beans, nothing else comes with the beans. You are giving tin tomato, you don't have anything to cook. The situation is not the best.
Let me ask you this. As a headmaster, hundreds of people have brought their children to you to look after them while they study. The funds to feed them are supposed to be coming from the government. The funds are not coming. These people's children are in your care. You can't feed them. You're giving them Tom Brown morning till evening. How does that make you feel as a custodian of people's children?
Kojo, we are all parents. The very first time it happened, I wept at the dining hall. I wept. The phone was like, Master, you're anything. And that day, there was nothing. There was nothing. I only had, maize that we have put in water, ready for meal.
40 students have been arrested for vandalism at the Kobia Asante Technical and Vocational School in the Ashanti region. The 40 were among scores who went on rampage on campus on Sunday morning, protesting the poor results of their predecessors in their final exams. The institute has since been closed down following a directive from the Ghana TVET service. About 4 government vehicles, including a Mahindra and an Isuzu pickup truck, a Nissan Patrol, and a school bus, were vandalized. A Toyota Vitz vehicle owned by the senior house mistress was also damaged. The students also turned over another salon car owned by a teacher. Love News sources say the school store was also invaded by the students, resulting in the destruction of food items and other supplies. The students made unsuccessful attempts to break into some bungalows but damaged parts of the building. The police intervened to restore calm on campus. The Ashanti Regional Director of Education, Dr. Ano Ankra, together with the District Director of Education, have since visited the scene. We can now go to Kumasi and speak with Nanaya Ojima, who is monitoring this for us. Nanaya, what really triggered this disturbance? Hello, Nanaya.
Yeah, Aisha. Hello,
yes,
Aisha.
Yes, Nanaya. So I'm asking what triggered this disturbance on campus?
So the cause of the disturbance is yet to be established, but there are some reasons that are being attributed to the disturbances so far. Now, I had a conversation with the district director of education, and according to him, preliminary investigation has established that the students were rampaging on 3 different reasons. One, they believe that their predecessors didn't do well in their final examination, and they're attributing that to the performance of the teachers and other factors within the school. So that is one of the reasons for the rampage yesterday. Secondly, the school has issued a new communication to these students, and the policy is that now for what they call preps, that's the evening studies, that's the private studies of these students, the male students and the female students will not be allowed to study together. And this, according to the district director of education, didn't go down well with some of these students, and it could be one of the reasons why the students went on rampage yesterday. And finally, the students are complaining about reduced number of sockets for ironing ironing in the school. According to the district director of the education, some of these students believe that there are not enough sockets for them, for their use when they want to iron their uniforms, and that is one of the reasons. But from the conversation that I've been having with the director of education, according to him, the reason for limiting the number of sockets in the school, or not increasing the number to what the students will prefer, is that some of these students are using it to charge their mobile phones, which is not allowed in school. So for that reason, the students went on rampage to protest against the school authorities, and in that protest they destroyed some school property and not other private property.
News about when they will be released. Nana Ojima, we are hearing of that.
So, information that I've been gathering so far.
Go ahead, Nana.
So, the information that I've been gathering so far is that the police have been able to get something from these students. That is, they've been able to take the students or the statement of all 40 students, and they will continue with the investigation. But right after the dissect meeting that is happening currently, the parents of these students will be invited to the police station, and the process will continue from there. It is unclear the decision that they will take on these 40 students that have been arrested so far. But the information is that, or what I know is that, the District Security Council is in a meeting with some education officials trying to find the way forward. Now, the information that I have is that after this meeting, a committee will be set up to ensure that they investigate the matter and find reasons for the students who went on rampage.
Jima, so now we know that the District Security Council is also meeting on the same matter. Any further details on that?
Presently, as I said earlier, they are in a meeting, and after the meeting, they will be able to set up a committee to investigate the issues. Now, the information that I've been picking is that about 2 years ago, there was a move by some of these students, that's the seniors, those who completed school 2 years ago, to stage a demonstration just like what happened yesterday. But due to early intervention of authorities, they couldn't progress with the decision that they took to demonstrate. So all these issues are issues that the Security Council will be discussing, and will also set up a committee to find a lasting solution to these student issues that they've been having at the Kobia Asante Technical Vocational School.
Nana Ojima is our man following this for us. We'll bring you the outcome of this meeting in our subsequent bulletins. Now, about 200 girls of the Wa Senior High Technical School have been displaced by fire, which gutted their dormitory last night. There were no casualties, but students who were traumatized over the incident were rushed to the Wa Municipal Hospital for treatment. The inferno, according to an eyewitness, started after 8 p.m. and consumed valuables comprising reading materials, beds, mattresses, food and non-food items JoyNews' Upper West Region correspondent Rafiq Salam has more.
Pandemonium at West Senior High Technical School, WASEC Tech, and students ran for their lives. The scene, after captured by this viral amateur video, had the affected girls running helter-skelter, crying and shouting for help. They became helpless at a point and looked on in pain while their valuables, comprising of reading materials, uniforms, mattresses, bags, food and non-food items, were consumed by the inferno and within minutes turned into ashes. The fire, we are told, started after 8 p.m. when the girls were at night preps. Personnel of the Ghana National Fire Service were called to the scene to help those of the fire. It took them about an hour before the fire was brought under control. The fire affected 5 rooms in the top floor of the 2-story dormitory. The cause of the fire for now is not known. It's been speculated, however, that one of the girls saw the fire upon her return to the dormitory after brownout at their classroom. There were no casualties. 8 students, however, were rushed to the War Municipal Hospital for treatment. About 200 girls have been displaced as a result of the fire. This is the 4th time in 2 years that the girls' dormitory in the Upper West region has been burnt into ashes. Reporting for JoyNews, Rafiq Salam.
Now, starting this month, customers of the Ghana Water Company should expect erratic flow of water, as the company says it has been forced to ration water. In a statement signed by the head of communications, Stanley Marty, the company is faced with water supply challenges with the onset of the dry season. Meanwhile, they are advising individuals to find efficient ways of using water, including the indiscriminate water of loans with treated water. Stanley Mate has been detailing us with what to expect. He spoke on News Desk.
And the policies are being laid out by the Water Resources Commission. Okay, and when these policies are passed and into law, and law enforcement agencies are empowered, and then I think we can see some results. So, but currently, I think everything is fine. We are educating a lot of the farmers along our river bodies, and we are hopeful that they'll seize this attitude of theirs. For instance, the one Barakese in the Ashanti region, a few months ago, we were there with our sector minister, Honorable Cecilia Gradafa, reformed Otunfo Oseichitu, and he has also gotten involved. And everybody is involved because if that is not done, the situation will be quite dire in the very near future. So everybody is involved, and we are hoping that we should see some results soon.
And I guess, as usual, Galamsey is also playing a role here.
It's a serious part of the process, and with Galamsey, all of us will have to get involved. Okay, the government is involved, media men are involved, everybody will have to get involved. In our own small way, we will advise even our colleagues, our friends who are into these illegal activities to put an end to it. We shouldn't also look at the bigger picture. Even the small things that we can do can help in curbing this menace.
Away from the Ghana Water Company Limited, business activities are gradually picking up once more after the long Christmas break. So what exactly are people doing in terms of selling and buying? What has changed with all the uncertainties in the economy? My colleague Mapito Sebede was at the Tiptoe Lane near the Kwame Nkrumah interchange and has father's report.
Niama ekoso was on say January December no na niama no high kakra anti yakoto niama no go ba e see December no January na say niama no omo ateso kakra ba anya too much biasa but sisi na say omo say dollar no so say kosoro
say clothes jeans t-shirt Lacoste everything everything is okay, everything is normal, things are going well. as for me, the things are going with. Oh, December there, as usually, everything move fast in December. But by this time, slowly, but it's good.
I sell clothes, jeans, t-shirts, round neck, then things, boxer shorts and things.
Yeah. All right. So how has business been going so far?
But it's great, small.
Yeah.
But because of the new year, so I think people are paying school fees and things. So the market is not moving on like December and November last year. So we understand. Myself, I'm paying school fees. It's not easy. I've not even paid my own yet, but it's small.
So how many children are you paying for?
Oh, me, I'm paying for one. Yeah.
Okay. And are they in SHS or JFS?
Oh, not. It's just a primary school. Business there tomorrow. If you go to the market to buy the goods, they will say the CFA is going up, the dollar too is going up. Next week, if you go, it is coming down. The following day, going up. It's very. I'm not understand, sir, but we dey inside. It's our business, but God's grace.
Business is easier for you.
Government had to put support. Maybe I want the dollar or the CFA to come down. So if you go market and buy the goods and come, so that the customers too can buy it. If the customers come and you give them price, they will.
The previous, it has been moving fast, but now it's slow, small. But I think maybe it's the, the school people, they have started school, so I think they are buying books and other things. That's why. I sell watches, I sell chains, I sell perfumes and rings, wedding rings and other things.
How much were you buying the watches before? And how much are they selling for now?
They've doubled it too. At first, those ones we buy, it's like 100 cedis. Now it's 1.8, 1.5. And even the one we buy it 1.5, 2.5, 2.2. They've doubled it.
Hello everyone, warm welcome to the business segment on JoyNews today with me, Pius Kojobaka. Finance lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School, Professor Godfrey Popkin, has blamed the lack of cooperation from the individual bondholders in the debt exchange program to the approach being adopted by government. His comment is coming at a time government is struggling to secure 80% threshold in the voluntary debt exchange program from domestic investors. Professor Godfrey Popkin spoke earlier on the AM show.
It's about presenting a credible plan backed by the assurance of creditors and financiers that they are on board. You have secured their commitment in restructuring on your debt. That may be enough for the fund to approve the program. In the case of Zambia, they reached staff level agreement somewhere December 2021. And when they initiated the process of restructuring their debt, that was enough. And the fund approved their program in July. And up to now, they are still going through the process of restructuring while the IMF program is running.
So, Prof, basically what you're saying is our approach is faulty.
Yes, it has more to do with the approach and a certain appetite on the part of government to abuse the process and create financial repression in the economy.
Well, the Ghana Investment Promotion Center has disclosed that it will create B2B opportunities for Ghanaian businesses to interact and share their business ideas with their foreign counterparts. This assurance is coming at a time the center is hoping to boost trade volumes between Ghana and Malta this year, despite the current economic challenges. Speaking to Joy Business, Deputy Chief Executive of the GIPC, Yao Amwatini Friye, stated that his outfit is poised to generate more local and foreign direct investments into the country this year.
Using platforms like this, where Maltese and Ghanaian businesses are able to interact, converge and talk about commercial opportunities within healthcare, within agriculture, within tourism and all the other sectors under focus, we believe that we can increase the figure of $20 million, which the GIPC has recorded as the total foreign direct investment from Malta since 1994 to date. And so these are some of the strategies, these are some of the platforms that we believe that Ghanaian businesses ought to be taking advantage to interact with their Maltese counterpart to increase that figure, right? B2B sessions, government government interactions, already the political side has made a lot of strides. The president has gone to Malta, I think in 2019. Their premier was here, I believe, in 2017. So using that as the anchor, we want to build on the business-to-business interaction between Ghanaian and Maltese. So when you're talking about strategies, I believe that this is one of the most obvious and most eloquent ways that Ghanaian businesses ought to take advantage of the prospects that the Maltese companies bring to Ghana.
Good afternoon. Let's do sports now on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Over the weekend, a key pillar within the governance of Ghana football died. Alhaji MND Jaula died in the USA after a short illness. Well, one person he worked with is former chairman of the Ghana Football Association, Nana Brew Sam Butler. He says that the life of MND Jaula was beyond football.
The loss of Alhaji MND Jaula is not only a blow to the football fraternity, it is a blow to the whole nation. Remember that football is the anchor of unity for this country. He worked as my vice chairman at the GFA, and then in later years he became the chairman of the Football Association. One of the remarkable achievements that we made together was when he was appointed as chairman of the under-17 team that went to Ecuador while I was chairman, and jointly we brought honor to this country by annexing the World Cup. Another distinguished one which I can recall was when Pasifok took the whole of Africa by storm while I was still the chairman and he was coming in during transition. So again, it was an honor that both of us achieved, amongst others.
Let's talk about the Black Stars coaching job. It's been the dominant headline in recent weeks, and reports have suggested that there are many coaches, including Kwesi Appiah, who have applied for the coaching job. A member of parliament for Ningo Prampram constituency, Sam George, he has claimed that Chris Hughton has been handed the role already. According to him, the Ghana Football Association is just going through a process he described as unnecessary.
Better to do. That job, they've given it to Chris Hughton already, so why are we wasting our time?
Already?
Oh.
So they shouldn't apply?
They've given it to him because they want someone they can manipulate, someone who they can use to do their business, someone who they can tell, if our team selection, okay, this one is my team player. Me, I'm at the GFA. This person plays for me. I'm his manager. Put him inside. Whether he's kicked the ball in 8 months or not, they put him inside. Look, let's not waste our time. People are doing business. You see, let's go and look for money to eat. Some people are using GFA to make money. They are using that to feed their families.
Do you have proof?
Oh. You've forgotten what happened at the World Cup. You want proof? I'll give you proof. Tell me how Baba Rahman found way into the last squad in our final game at the World Cup. What ball did he play? What ball had he played? Is Baba Rahman's agent not our GFA president? Look, people should not know us in this country. We are angry and we are walking. Your boy, you need powder. And I had this, and now, remember, before. We know what's going on in this country.
Well, there was a gentleman agreement between the GFA and Chris Hughton as far back as February 2022 for him to be given the job after Otto Addo walks away. Would that happen? Time would tell. The GFA said they will announce a coach by the close of this month. We appreciate your company. Up next is World News.